Well, it's a day here, sunny at Wonderland. It's time for another vlog, maybe the last vlog of the year, just because I'm going to be focusing on some different videos of the park. And how many times can you really just vlog from the park in a year? But yeah, let's go check out all the major coasters. At least today I'll give you my review and rundown. I think we might, if it's not busy enough, do yet another all the coaster rankings, and also try to get on some of the rides that I didn't get on in the first 2-day vlogs that I did earlier this year, if they're open. Guardian is still not open, unfortunately, as well. Fortunately though, the trains at the park on all the major rides have full service, so all the lines should be nice and short, which is great. All right, let's check it out, man. Alright, so that's flight deck done, and I'm gonna be honest, one important tip, if you're thinking about coming on a weekday, I've got the 9:30 admission for the park, so yeah, it's walk on for everything today. So front seat ride on flight deck, and it actually wasn't all that bad, actually. It was pretty smooth. There was no like head bashing at all, especially on the Heartline twist, which is usually not forgiving on this ride, but yeah, no problems at all. So far so good. Flight deck is I'm gonna give it a solid like 6.5, because it doesn't really have anything unique in the current offering of coasters. But yeah, not too bad. I'm kind of surprised.
The flight deck water.
Just finished Time Warp. It's Zamperla Verlaire. I say it every time because if you do know these rides, you know what to expect, which is not much. Don't do it when you got to go to the washroom, as I had to. So I got to go and hot trot to one of those right now. Not a great ride, not the worst. The second half was actually relatively smooth for this coaster, so I'm not going to begrudge it too much. And yeah, I'm going to give it like a 4.5, because that first half with the inversions, it's just too much. It's really just not a ride that is designed to probably be other than on a fairground circuit, where it's probably more appropriate. But yeah, 4.5 for Time Warp, even on a good day, which would probably be today.
Please place our request number 1 including the platform. Overhead mask from mandatory on this ride. Trains are now closing. Blocking the street.
Hey, are you first up?
I am.
Oh, nice. I know. It's surprising
Just got off of Behemoth here. Front and back seat walk-ons, so probably should emphasize that if you are planning on coming, definitely midweek is excellent for getting right on. Now, it was covered in my last video, but the trains are running a little bit like Wonderland safety record. I should probably say, actually, I digress on this whole thing, but Wonderland had an incident only a couple of days ago that just made it to the social medias, where Lumberjack got caught upside down, basically. I have really no question about Wonderland safety record being among the best in the world. So yeah, there's really no issue really for me when it comes to that. Behemoth was running, like it just seemed like the train was a little bit like, just need the bolts tightened a bit. It just was like a little bit shaky in the train itself, but the ride was pretty smooth. The airtime was delivering as it normally should, and yeah, you know, it was a good ride. I'd probably give it like an 8 on a good day. My favorite part of that ride is the turnaround, just like the way it sucks you through that so quickly into the next sort of like, it's not really a drop, but it's more like a, I don't know, a descent out of the turnaround. But yeah, it's just quality, enjoy it a lot. Still not my favorite airtime machine in Canada. I do rate Goliath a little bit more because the views are better, and I just feel that like with those high speed turns or the wave turns that it has at the very end of the course, it's just a little bit better than what Behemoth offers, even though Behemoth is a larger ride. But yeah, a little bit shaky, but other than that, a nice solid ride on Behemoth as always. Gonna rate that one an 8 today, an 8. Behemoth gets an 8. Okay, Backlot is done. It's a solid ride, but as per usual, and why I'm saying that I'm not going to probably do that many more vlogs this year is because I keep repeating myself in the fact that the special effects don't work on this ride, and it's annoying when they work at Kings Island. If that were the case, I'd rate it a 7.5, maybe an 8 on a good day. But because of those special effects, that's annoying. It's going to be a 7 from me on Backlot Stunt Coaster. As per usual though, gray out inducing ride, which is the best part, and that was on top gear today. But yeah, other than that, yeah, it's a great family coaster, but I really can't really add much more than that. I'm just checking out to see if Sledgehammer, Cliffhanger, I always get the name wrong, but it is Sledgehammer, is up and running, but unfortunately it's not. So in this section, the only thing that I really need to do is Cyclone, as I do usually like to do that ride, as it's a solid ride. But I'll come back to that later. We're gonna do Yukon Striker next.
Why does that look like a truck?
Mindbuster is done, and surprisingly, as it's never happened before, but I lost my phone on the ride, so time for a new phone. Definitely don't take your phone on the ride. Besides that, my first ride when that happened was in the middle of the train, so not on a wheel seat, and I noticed that it wasn't actually as rough as the last time that I rode it. But this second ride was on a wheel seat in the very back, and it was definitely rough. It's a very surprising difference because that was both in the back seat. So yeah, if you're considering being on this ride, I definitely would recommend a non-wheel seat. So really in the middle of the car is your best option to get the smoothest ride. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Mindbuster, other than the fact that this layout has been butchered and that they can reprofile this coaster as much as they want. But unfortunately, with those first 3 airtime hills and the way they've been reprofiled, there's just no point to it anymore. If you're looking for airtime, you're going to get it on Behemoth right next door. So yeah, I hate to say it, even though this is a classic ride, but if it does go away, if it does go the way of the Dodo, I'm not so sure I'll miss it. It's just the way it is. Just got off of the double up of Frontier Canada, which is, I was hoping there'd be no wind, so I'm sorry, but it seems I found yet another spot where it's super windy. Maybe if I go up, who knows. All right, well, Yukon Striker, 8.5, same as always, solid ride. Not much new to say about it, other than obviously it's in its third year, well, second season, so there's not much that's changed with the ride. Got a back and a front right seat ride on it, which was excellent because that's where I do like to be on the train. Wait for the gust of wind to settle down, but it probably won't. In this park, it's either the background music or the wind. There's no way for me to do my little like sum ups without stuff happening in the background. So Mindbuster, lots of problems. I hate the fact that that reprofiling in the first half has taken out all the excitement of the ride. And even though the new track work done on the ride is definitely smoothing it out, say on that second drop after the turnaround, and also in the helix and the tunnel. But with that, just overall, if you're not sitting in a wheel seat on that ride, it's not worth doing because it's just so crazy rough. I did it in the back on a wheel seat and in the middle. The middle was completely fine and satisfying and not bad of a ride. I'd give it probably like, you know, outside of the lack of airtime on those hills in the first half, I'd give it like a 7. Yeah, but you know, I wouldn't really miss the ride if it is got a limited fate, because as much as I do love Mindbuster, without those airtime hills really delivering as they should, there's no point to it when Behemoth is standing right next door and it'll deliver that same package. Just admiring the views. park, obviously. It's getting on to about 2 o'clock, and I haven't filmed in quite a while. The reason why is because the park actually has gotten quite busy. As you can see from the parking lot behind me, it's actually probably busier now than it was, say, when I first got here for the Season's Pass holder day, the opening day, which seemed pretty busy. So my advice, what I'm going to say is that this is first off a 2-part vlog, because I will be here early very shortly in a couple of days. So I'm going to continue doing the rest of the coasters and do my reviews of them on another day. So this is basically part 1, and we'll flash forward to that. But there's a certain insight I need to cover for those of you that are planning on visiting the park. If you do get a 9:30 reservation, you are kind of golden and set, and I definitely recommend getting here early. You're not going to be facing a wait like you can see behind me right now, as it's fairly significant. Now, from what I understand, it's pretty easy to get into the park through these lines. It's not too much of a wait. I fortunately have avoided that every time I've come here. But that being said, the only frustrating thing right now is that there was a fairly significant line of people trying to just get out of the park. So all of the entrance queues are open, and they actually didn't even have an exit prepared for people that just wanted to leave, like myself. So yeah, and there was a fairly significant line that showed up there too. You know, I'm not here to nitpick. It was a pretty good day for the short day that I'm here today. And I will be back, as I said, in a couple days as well. But further to that, if you do that, you will be able to get on to every ride pretty much in the first 3 hours of your visit here. I would say like the major rides. You'll definitely get them covered in re-rides before it gets busier later on into the day. So yeah, if you want to actually get the main stuff in as a quick sort of half day here at Wonderland, get that 9:30 reservation if you can, get into the park, and then around 1:30 you're probably going to be considering leaving, as it starts to get busy. As right now there is lines, including for Leviathan. Nothing is a walk-on anymore, so definitely get here early. Alright, that's the first part of this vlog, guys. Enjoy the sights as we rejoin you in a forward point in time. Hello everyone, yet another day at Wonderland, and the second part of my overall roller coaster review for the 2021 season. I'm going to go on the fly first, because this is a ride that I generally get annoyed to wait for later in the day, so get it out of the way first, right? I don't think that's such a bad plan. Here at 9:30, we're really actually at 10 in the morning, so plenty of time to get everything in today. It'll probably be just as busy as it's been the past couple of weeks, I am assuming. And yeah, really no reference to be made about ride operations, other than hopefully everything's running well and smoothly today. So here we go, the fly. Just set it all off for day 2.
All clear. We hope you enjoy your ride.
Ready? 5 bars will be opening in 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
Alright everyone, hello. So it's been about almost 2 hours since I spoke to you last, and I'm obviously not riding any rides. I'm over by the waterfall, but we have a lot of things I'm going to sum up right now, as I've been on all the rides probably that I'm going to do for the day, and there's a lot to update about the park. My perspectives of the park, my perspectives on some of the rides, and also my perspectives on vlogging in general in Wonderland in the future. So let's start with the rides that I covered. First off was the Fly, which was exactly the same as it was before. There's nothing really special to really point out about the Fly. It is, you know, we're going to get a better view, right? Might as well get the view while we're here. The Fly, the only thing I was kind of annoyed by is that the fact that now you can actually have everybody seated beside each other. They're now, instead of, say, only 2 weeks ago, where you had a situation where they were staggering seating for the most part, and really making sure to adhere to those rules. Now, say if you come as a single rider, you're basically plopped in any seat available, which is fine, but at the same time, yeah, we don't really need the uncomfortable experience of experiencing the same ride with another family or, say, louder riders and stuff. If you've been through a large queue and that's what you're faced with, well, yeah, kind of unfortunate, but I'm getting old, and yeah, someone that you don't know rubbing up against you in that tight car is not the ideal experience, I'll say. So it happened, it is what it is. But, you know, the Fly is not really a ride that I see that's even necessary at this park. International Festival really needs like an upgrade overall with its ride selection. It hasn't changed that much since this park originally opened, and it's very family focused. It lacks a thrill ride proper. Like you could say Shockwave, but I just don't consider like it doesn't have a large scale thrill ride, much like it deserves, as every other section of the park has and spoiled with. I think there might be some divers behind me. Oh no, it's the Snoopy show that's coming up. Next ride was Thunder Run. First thing I'm going to say is that I wish they would replace the seats on that ride, because the bucket seat is not the most comfortable thing in the world to actually sit in during the experience. But I got to give credit. So I'll give the Fly like a 6, but I'm going to give Thunder Run high marks like a 7, because all the light work was working in the tunnels, which was quite good. Alright, the show's now starting behind me, so I'm going to have to do this in another segment. Thunder Run was a good experience for what it is. Yeah, it really actually ran pretty smoothly, and most of the noise and stuff that I complained about earlier was not actually factored in during this experience. It was a bit noisy on the train, but nothing really too distracting. A pretty enjoyable experience nonetheless, I'd say. Next up because I was able to kind of go 1, 2, 3 is to go over to Vortex with literally no weight, except I was again kind of annoyed because the line, even though there was the opportunity to go in the back and there was no reason why I shouldn't have been able to go to the back, they're literally, as per usual on some seasons on Vortex, seating or arranging the line to go, the spaces are line by line, queue by queue. The next ride was Vortex, and how could I resist with 0 queue, right? So straight on. I hadn't actually been on it since like my first ride of the season, so yeah, slightly annoying that they were managing the queue in the sense that you couldn't choose your place on the train. With there being no wait downstairs, I think that was a little extreme. I'm not gonna not be annoyed by that because really in these few luxury opportunities where you're in the park where you have the advantage to be able to choose a spot, which might be for some people their only chance at all to get in certain parts of the train, especially with fast lane gobbling up all the primary seats, really not about it. So yeah, slightly annoyed with that, but other than that, middle of the train ride obviously is what I got based on that mood. But it was super smooth and very enjoyable, unlike my very first ride on it, which was towards the front of the train. So yeah, definitely excellent job on Vortex in its 30th anniversary. I'd say that's the ride I'm definitely going to remember from it versus the one I had at the beginning of the season. So I'm going to give it a solid 8 because Vortex is still probably the best suspended coaster still in existence today. back of the park. And the reason why we're here is because it's fairly busy, and I wanted to sort of provide some insight into what is actually happening with the lines now. So the cleaning procedures, at least, they're not running the trains through the course for the cleaning, which has definitely speeded things up. And it looks like for a case like Yukon Striker, they're staggering it out as well between the 3 trains. So it's relatively fast. And I will say that this team on Yukon Striker today has been fantastic. They're really on the ball. A little bit, you know, light in personality, but you know, that's just the way it is post-COVID, it seems, these days. But that being said, I do find it kind of annoying when people take advantage of the single rider queue and you get groups of 4 or 5 people that are clearly together that are taking advantage of that shorter queue. It makes it more difficult for me. Not that I'm entitled to have shorter lines, but the whole idea is to space out the trains to make them full. I've already complained earlier about the Vortex situation where the train wasn't available, or that wasn't available. So, you know, you can't have it both ways. Conspiracy theorist in me really thinks that like Wonderland is sending like cleaning people over to me because every time I start to shoot, I get somebody that's like sweeping stuff right next to me. Like these guys behind me. Anyway, yeah, so with the full train service and everything, it's not actually equating to shorter wait times. We're about 2:30 in the afternoon right now, and all the wait times are about the same as they were on the opening weekend, with about half the trains full to capacity. So, that being said, the lines are longer for sure. I think that they are allowed to actually put more people into the park than say the just under 30% now, but even though some of the thoroughways or throughways seem empty at times, the queues are relatively long. I've already been on most of these rides a couple of times. Like Yukon, I've done twice today, even though that wasn't even planned before the single rider queue started forming. I know I'm going off on a bit of a moan, but this is my last vlog for the summer from the park due to other difficulties that I find by doing this stuff alone here. I just feel like I've given you guys enough of a sort of scope of what it's all about, but there are some minor frustrations that aren't on camera with doing this stuff that is definitely adding up, and I'm just now at the point where, hey, we're going to other places to vlog anyway, and I've covered most of the stuff anyway, so am I repeating myself? That might be why I'm doing this for the last time. Summer-wise, come the fall, there will definitely be a haunt vlog to come up. Anyhow, it's hot, it's sweltering. Like I said, it's a Monday today, so you're gonna expect some big lines. Get here early if you can, like I did today, and get those rides in that you really kind of have prioritized. Most of the flat rides, you're not gonna wait more than 10 minutes for. At least the service or the ride operations there has definitely gotten much better than it was, say, on the first day. So yeah, I'm gonna try to see if I can get on something else. I have a pretty busy day here because I'm also getting a lot of creative shots for other content too. So yeah, things are a little bit staggered, so I apologize for that. But we'll get through it, right? We always do at some point here at a day at Wonderland. original attraction from 1981. I haven't been on it probably since the 80s, so but it is marvelously grown in. Like, it's so damn picturesque, pardon my expletive, but wow. And it's like the only chance I could get a ride on my own today, so I took advantage of it while I can. There's a lot of these kids rides in this section that I haven't ridden before. Like, look at that. That is also it was originally the Scooby-Doo train, but now it's, I'm not really sure what it's called. I think it's just standard choo-choo. It also dates from original times. We got some quite unique decor theming going on here too. Try that. You don't actually have to drive this thing, as I'm not actually driving it right now. Driver school was not necessary. Woo! And say the Kings Island or the Kings Entertainment Group, when they set up these rides, as Kings Island also has a fairly well-made and ornate Ford Model T antique cars attraction. This one not too different from that one. When it comes to like when I say the most picturesque park in like among the most picturesque theme parks out there, you only need to take this ride to know why. And you can get some on-ride too, as you can see. On-ride entertainment fun. It's a nice little break. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon now, and as the rides are starting to get a little bit busy, I'm now at the point where thinking this might be my last ride of the day before I sum up everything. Which is actually a pretty good ride to end the day, is the deer. Hey buddy, thanks for the ride. See you next time. We make a correct assumption that we're done with coasters, and I'm gonna go through the rides that I have not done today and explain why that is, in addition to covering rides that I haven't covered yet, that I have been on. But it being the midday, it's kind of an unpredictable situation. The park is definitely busier than previously, now that we're at the cutoff point for admissions, or getting close to. But as you'll see from some of the footage, the lines are somewhat long in some areas and somewhat not in other areas. It's kind of weird. Taxi Jam always has a line though, so. As I'm getting into the kids section and getting out of the kids section really quickly, I was just by a Silver Streak as a medium-sized line. I don't expect that ride to be any different than my previous ride this season. I think that's going to be enough for this year. I'm not really a big fan of that ride to begin with. I do it once a year and that's pretty much good for me. If the opportunity presents itself to get another ride at some point that I'm here and it's a walk-on, I'll do it. But other than that, yeah, Silver Streak I'm going to give a pass, because it's generally like a 5 out of 10 for me as far as attractions are concerned. As we move over to Ghoster Coaster, which I already did this season as well, and a very long wait, and I'm anticipating a long wait today, which is why we probably won't be doing a full day of review of this ride. While I'm waiting for a train to go, and the line's right behind me and it's almost to the front entrance, so we're almost in an hour wait for the Ghoster Coaster here on a Monday in post-pandemic conditions. But to give my review of the Ghoster Coaster, I will say I'd give it a 6.5. It's running pretty smooth. This is the smoothest wood coaster in Wonderland right now, which is kind of scary to think, but the reality is what it is. even though you don't have that second airtime hill leading to the station that I moan about a lot because of the reprofiling. It's still a great solid ride for kids. Alright, so as I said, a solid ride as usual, but a little too long of a wait for a solid ride for me. Yeah, it's definitely picking up in the park, so again, I don't think I'll be getting on any more rides today, but a lot of thoughts to share on this, the last summer vlog of 2021 here at Wonderland.
Yeah, I mean, we have a podcast.
And therein lies the reason why I did the fly earlier. You can see it right there. I've noticed a lot of slow cycle times on a lot of attractions. I don't know if that's on purpose, but you know, I'm gonna end the vlog with like what I noticed, like a long time between dispatches, just because I hear a lot of hearsay, like everything's running normally and there's nothing really like that the park's not doing anything wrong. And I'm not saying that the park's doing anything wrong. I'm just gonna say that the information out there might not be accurate for what I'm experiencing, because as you can see, these guys are all lined up in the block sections now on the fly, and throughout the time that I've been here on 3 visits, I've noticed a lot of complications with the throughput on this ride. So just a warning for you, if you are coming to try to get everything, you probably want to do this ride first, just to avoid that frustration later on. Some of you may have been informed about the status of this ride in the last week, actually when I was here last Wednesday, the thing valleyed, and I did notice earlier today that there were some mechanics working on the ride, which is why I did not go on it earlier. The Bat is running right now, but it doesn't seem to be without its complications this season. Definitely check out my History of the Bat video for nostalgia's sake, because I have a feeling that if this ride continues to have issues over time, its future at this park may be limited. Still a popular attraction, obviously. There's a fairly large wait behind me, which is why I'm not going to be riding it today. It always has a long wait. It's a single train, but when it has like technical issues, obviously that's going to hold things up. Overall, I give it probably like a 6 to a 6.5. I'll give it a 6.5 on a good day when there's not too much rattle, like the ride that I had not too long ago. All right, enjoy the Bat.
Goodbye.
feel like everyone's got a little more.
Just got off of Wild Beast, and I'm gonna say a controversial thing. Like I said 2 years ago, front seat ride, pretty much a walk-on. Had a great chat with the ride op there, so great crew. A little bit delayed, but I'm happy with it. I don't know what people are talking about when they say that that's one of the roughest wood coasters in the country or in the world, because it's actually running amongst the best wood coasters I've been on in recent memory. That's a shocking thing to say, because I do understand how Wild Beast over the years has been kind of unmanageable. But that was like, compared to Mindbuster, it is night and day. And I'll say as well, it was better than Ghoster Coaster's ride. It was actually pretty smooth, and probably one of the best rides that I've had in recent memory on that ride. So I don't know if I'm going to believe the naysayers when they say that Wild Beast is just so rough. They've done a lot of work on it. If you look at the reprofiling on the turnaround, it's just the first half of that they've actually reprofiled. There's actually metal as part of the structure. So this is technically now a hybrid coaster. Either way you look at it, Wild Beast is definitely getting up to being one of my favorite rides in the park once again. Pretty sure that this ride is running faster than it normally has, because that gray out that I experienced the first time I rode it this season happened yet again on the exact same portion on the second loop. It is smoother than it has been in recent memory, but yeah, the G-forces are really intense on Dragonfire this year for some reason, which I am not used to at all. You know, it is what it is. It's the ride that seems to be a permanent fixture here at Wonderland. And I'm glad for it, even if my head is pretty rattled now, and I think I'm definitely done with rides for the rest of the day. Because yeah, that was a bit rough on the head after a full day of riding. All right, what am I gonna rate that? Gotta put my mask on. I'll give it a 7. A solid 7 for a narrow looper. I'm gonna mention it because I have to, but Riptide is open again, but the problem with that is that only the back row is open and not the front. I don't know about you, but like, it reminds me of like one of those used cars that is barely road legal and might not be certified, that, you know, it's like, it's all right, it'll get us to A and B, it just won't get us there in a luxurious fashion. So until that thing is actually up and running entirely, I might give it a pass. Because, yeah, I don't know. It's oddly enough, if you watched a vlog from Marineland not too long ago, you might have noticed that I had, and I'm just going to confess to it, but I had actual sunburns on my face in the form of like sideburns because of the mask. Probably another day of that coming up right now. So just figured I'd go to a spot where I could get out of the way, and there seems to be that many people around. But there are still people shouting in the background, but we're at the front entrance because I'm out of here, and Snoopy always is conducting whenever I am actually around here, so it's getting kind of to be like a ever-present person. Anyhow, the symphony's about to begin. Everything's silent. I'm gonna go check out the merch store. This isn't the last time I'm coming to Wonderland this summer, for sure, but the future I'm gonna cover a couple of things that I have for other videos planned. But I'm not going to walk and talk anymore. Along a berm here on the outside of the park, and just admiring Leviathan and getting some great shots for further coverage and videos later on. I didn't really give a rating, but it's riding as great as it always has. I don't really have anything to change about my review of it. I'd still give it like a 9. I'm giving Leviathan a 9. It'd get a 10 if it was just a bit longer, as we always say. One helix and you've got a 10, a top tier first-class, world-class coaster. It is one anyway. It just has that one niggling thing that we don't like. But outside of that, yeah, I'm done with my day here. I actually have exited, obviously. I might even go back in, but I'm gonna go and get some refreshment on the other side because it is cheaper over there. And I come to Wonderland enough that I think it's perfectly legitimate that I give that place, gotta wait for the train to go by, but give that place, or those places, a decent shot at my custom. Anyway, that is a wrap here from my third sweaty day here at Wonderland. I know I've said this is the last vlog for some time. I don't know, maybe if the weather changes and it isn't so muggy and I have a bit more energy to actually do a full day at the park, because I will say in these current conditions I could not manage a full 12-hour day like I used to be able to, because yeah, it's crazy hot. And yeah, despite, you know, a parking lot empty, you're still going to be stuck in some queues for a fair amount of time. My last ride on Dragonfire there, again, we had a little bit of a wait in the train, in the brake run coming back in, and that can be really exhausting in the sun, in the direct sun. So yeah, I don't really want to have any more of those experiences. Probably go back in if I do. I'll probably be able to get on things like Yukon pretty fast, but we'll see. Maybe this vlog will continue, maybe it won't, but I'm gonna wrap it up for now. I'm gonna say also the Dragonfire, I hate the color scheme on it now. They need to do something with it. The original track is fine, but the trains are just a little bit too outlandish for me, and they just seem like out of place in the park, at least in the section of Medieval Fair. Anyhow, thanks guys for watching. This might be the end, who knows, until the fall. But I really do thank you for sticking along in what has been, you know, if anything, I'm trying to give an insight for those of us that, you know, are a little bit older and would find themselves at a park like this on their own, as I'm doing, as my partner is not into this kind of stuff too much. And I do, part of my concentrations for when I do these vlogs and why I tend to not really interact too much is because I want to remain focused on what I'm shooting and also what I'm addressing to you. And that's just the way it goes. So when the future visits come, I'll probably not be vlogging, and I'll definitely say hello to a lot of people while I'm not shooting. Anyhow, thank you for sticking along on 4 exhaustive days in total actually here at Wonderland. And I'm gonna now relax with hopefully a beverage, and maybe I'll go on this one more time if I go back in. Further to that, and one thing I did say that I was going to do before I do forget, is that I'm going to place my rankings of the coasters currently this season in a list here right beside us right now. If I'm going to populate a list, it will shoot up here. And why am I doing that? Well, I don't tend to like to rank coasters anyway, but I am going to give a ranking of how the rides are actually functioning, say, this year as opposed to previous years, because as I said before, my rating of Wildebeest or Wild Beast has skyrocketed compared to previous years just on one ride, based on that one front seat ride alone that I had today. So yeah, that's my list, that's my ranking. I hope you appreciate it. It's probably not that different or outlandish from most out there. And on that note, thank you very much, guys. Lots of exciting stuff coming, Wonderland related. I don't want to talk it down as if this is the end of the channel for Wonderland specifics, as you will be excited to hear the history of Wonderland. 90s is coming up soon, as is 3 featurettes on 3 big rides for this park. In fact, the 3 biggest that they have ever introduced in their history, one of which I'm standing beside right now. All right, guys, that's it for today. I'm knackered, as they say. Thanks for watching.